Welcome to News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Nathan Hartman, filling in for Tom Corliss, who's preparing to report on Galaxy's Edge. Here now is the news for May 27th, 2019. Well, H2O Glow Nights are back at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon to celebrate the upcoming release of Toy Story 4, and while you'll get to meet some of your favorite Toy Story characters, a new fan favorite won't be meeting as first reported. Originally, the Disney Parks blog had stated Forky would be among those greeting guests, only to edit their original post to state that he will be there in inflatable form. Yes, what was assumed to be an actual meet and greet is more just a photo op. Woody, Buzz, and Jessie, though, will be on hand for the nighttime event. Rumors are also circulating that the bird show Winged Encounters, The Kingdom Takes Flight at Animal Kingdom, is to cease operations due to the disappearance of the event from recent Times guides. We can now confirm the Macaw flyover, which takes place in front of the Tree of Life, will actually continue, but simply won't be listed. So the next time you go, keep an eye on the sky, and maybe you'll catch the show. In other Disney World news, one of the many perks for being a DVC member is the ability to pool hop around property, but that list is now getting a little shorter. We've learned that recent changes now exclude DVC members not staying at the Grand Floridian from using both the beach and courtyard pool. These are now added to the no-go list, which includes pools at Wilderness Lodge, the Polynesian, and Yacht and Beach, among many others. So if you're DVC and wanting to use this privilege, make sure to triple check that the desired pool of your choice is on your go list and blockout dates are not applying. Or maybe just go to Typhoon Lagoon. It seems a lot easier. The ABC commissary at Hollywood Studios has reopened after a brief but extensive refurbishment. Brand new self-serve soda fountains have also been installed, but as of our reporting, they were not operating during the lunch hour. We're assuming they'll open for dinner when the commissary changes over later in the day. Speaking of dinner, starting on June 2nd, reservations will start at 4 p.m. for the commissary. This will, of course, be when the restaurant changes from a casual quick service to something more similar to Be Our Guest's lunch service. They'll be switching out paper and plastic diningware at lunch to reusable plates and silverware for dinner. Yes, things are getting a little fancy over at the commissary. Over at the Magic Kingdom, the TRON Light Cycle Power Run coaster attraction has gotten a little more construction. Just last week, we saw the very first sections of the track being installed, and already, just after a few days, the actual shape of the coaster is taking form. From the People Mover, we can see a lot more of the dips and curves that our light cycle will be taking. But remember, sooner or later, this will most of it will get surrounded by a building, as the majority of the ride is indoors. So enjoy the view while you can. The TRON attraction is set to open at the Magic Kingdom Park in time for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary in 2021. If you're a fan of visiting Fort Wilderness, taking in those lush surroundings, be aware there are new parking restrictions in place for the resort and campground. Access to parking will now be limited to guests who have reservations for resort dining or activities. Limited parking access might be because of the current ongoing construction throughout the resort in preparations for Reflections, a Disney lakeside resort, as well as the expanded new stables at Tri-Circle D Ranch. If you plan on stopping by the resort and don't have a reservation, you can still get there by boat or bus from the Magic Kingdom. Over on the West Coast, Disneyland is preparing for the start of Galaxy's Edge, and in doing so, has released some handy information for opening day protocol. Guests with reservations for the land are allowed to check in up to 2 hours ahead of their reserved times at Star Wars Launch Bay in Tomorrowland. Coming for the merchandise? Well, you can start lining up at 2 a.m. on May 31st, though there will be no opening giveaways or opening ceremony, according to Disney's video. Lastly, while Disney bounding is encouraged, guests will not be allowed, per usual, to wear costumes of any kind if they are over 14 years of age. Now, what might you be able to carry around all this new Star Wars merchandise in? Well, reusable bags, of course, and we're finally getting our first look at the Galaxy's Edge reusable bags Disney are now selling. They sport a silhouette of Black Spire Outpost and the Millennium Falcon on one side, with R2-D2 and the Falcon and another Skyline on the opposite side. While no pricing has officially been stated for these bags, we can imagine they're going to fall in line with the current reusable bag price model. In other Disneyland changes, in the wake of Galaxy's Edge, the multiple experience Fast Pass that allowed guests to visit any Fast Pass attraction if their chosen Fast Pass became unavailable has been changed out with what is now being called Replacement Fast Pass Plan, which uses a two-tiered system. Now guests must choose through a kiosk or app a replacement attraction that falls into the same tier as the initial attraction they chose. For example, if you had a Fast Pass for Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, that is a Tier 2 attraction, and if it temporarily closed, you couldn't trade that in for a Tier 1 attraction such as Space Mountain. While most FastPass attractions are Tier 2, Tier 1s include Indiana Jones Adventure, Matterhorn Bobsleds and Space Mountain at Disneyland, and Radiator Springs Racers and Toy Story Midway Mania for California Adventure. One can assume, of course, that Galaxy's Edge rides will fall under Tier 1 once the land becomes available to all guests. Well, if you feel like drinking your sorrows away about the FastPass system in the coming weeks, we might suggest doing so over at Oga's Cantina in Batu, as we've learned that Disney has teamed up with some big-name craft brewers and cider makers to bring some of the drinks of Galaxy's Edge to life. These include the following: the Bad Motivator IPA, an India Pale Ale beer made of Galaxy and Comet hops with tropical fruit tones from Sierra Nevada; the White Wampa Ale, a Hefeweizen-style wheat beer with banana and citrus from Ballast Point; the Gold Squadron Lager, a golden lager with lavender and plum flavors from Blue Point; the Gomorian Ale, a red ale with roasted caramel and grapefruit flavors from New Belgium; and lastly, the Spice Runner, a gluten-free hard apple cider with dark red colors and spices from Angry Orchard. I'm thirsty already. Finally, early reviews and first impressions are in for the custom-built lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge, and they are glowing. Interestingly enough, one aspect we've learned is that the saber building ceremony process begins with, in classic Disney fashion, a pin. Depending on the theme of your choosing, you receive a special pin that then you show to the gatherer in charge of your building session. Also, almost everyone that we've heard from has remarked how heavy and well-made these sabers really are. One of the most unique features, of course, is the interactive kyber crystal igniter found in the middle of the saber hilt, which will hum and do different sounds depending on the crystal inserted. Saber builders can choose between red, blue, green, or purple kyber crystals that come in small storage vials. For more information on these stories and more, head on over to WDWNT.com. If you're looking for just everything Galaxy's Edge, which I can't imagine why you would, we also have you covered at StarWars.WDWNT.com. Here on YouTube, we'll also be releasing a video series called Black Spire 101, giving you insight on each shop, eatery, and attraction in the land, so check those out. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to WDW News Today here on YouTube, and of course, click that bell for notifications. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Nathan Hartman saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.